So as you can see, I am joined this morning by my friend and colleague and sometimes nemesis, MSNBC contributor Dr. Jason Johnson. He's a politics and journalism professor at Morgan State University. Jason, good morning.
Good
so
morning,
happy to have you on set.
Happy New Year.
Cheers, my friend. Happy New Year. I did not get to toast last night, and so I brought our little bubbly here on the set.
This works for me.
So we could welcome in the new year together.
So the world knows this is just orange juice for me because I'm lame. Like I told you before, I'm lame. It's just orange juice.
This is not just orange juice for me, but happy you're enjoying your orange juice. What did you do last night?
I did a lot, but all safe, all COVID safe. So there's not going to be any photos of me on IG or anywhere else running around, running these streets.
If folks have photos of you on IG, please tag me.
Please don't. Please don't. I don't really need that right now. So I had been on planes for like a day and a half to get here. We'll have conversations about COVID and travel. I got together with two friends, masked indoors, and we did a manifestation ceremony. And we talked about things we wanted to manifest in 2022, things we wanted to let go. We wrote down things that we wanted to let go, burned them, put them in a little bucket.
Really?
Spread some sage, and that's what I did.
Was my name on the list of things that you wanted to get rid of?
It was the first thing I wrote. I ran out of ink saying, like, Tiffany, please be gone in 2022. And it wouldn't burn. It was the craziest thing. I just kept putting it in. It wouldn't work.
The magic of being me,
the magic of you. So, yeah, that was, and that was different for me.
Yeah.
Usually I spend New Year's, it's much quieter than that. I spent New Year's last year, I ordered a deep dish pizza and just watched the ball drop, read a book. But this time, 2021's been really heavy, and so it was nice to sort of have that experience with other people.
It's been heavy for a lot of folks, and deep dish pizza is not real pizza, by the way.
Wow.
But yeah, I think you're
Violence.
right. No dish Chicago. But I think it's been heavy for a lot of folks, quite honestly, in 2021. And, you know, as a result, you did see a lot of scaled down celebrations last night, and a lot of folks trying to, you know, anticipate what kind of year 2022 is going to be. You're the resident cynic, typically.
Yes.
So do you think 2022 is going to be better than 2021?
I hope so. Otherwise, the whole ceremony last night made no sense. But like objectively, I'm worried.
Yeah.
Like I'm really worried. Like I don't know what you did. Clearly, Tiffany's not trying to tell us what she did last night.
I'll tell you what I did. I will tell you what I did.
Okay.
I went to sleep around 8:45, 9 o'clock. My plan was I'll wake up before New Year, because every year I say that. I woke up, it was like 3:45 in the morning. It was already 2022, so that's why I'm toasting this morning. And, you know, but like I said, it was a lot of scaled down celebrations last night, so I didn't have FOMO, and I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. And I want to hear more about your predictions on 2022, but speaking of scaled down ceremonies last night, I do want to let our viewers know that, you know, as we enter this third year of the pandemic, the coronavirus really said, new year, new me, because the Omicron variant surges forced many Americans to clink their bubbles in scaled back celebrations last night, especially in New York. The number of cases in New York City this week reached its peak since the start of the pandemic. So only 15,000 folks were allowed to watch the ball drop in person. And, you know, Jason, that's a far cry from the 58,000 the city was expecting to host. And in our former neck of the woods, we both lived there at different times, but my city where I grew up in, Atlanta Peach Drop, was canceled. And this was for the third row this year. You know, Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms is officially gone, and ushering in a new mayor there. And in San Francisco, Mayor London Breed, she nixed their annual fireworks show altogether. So definitely a lot of scaled back celebrations last night. I do want to say our thoughts and prayers are with the folks in Colorado, because in the fire-ravaged state, it's been a lot. Residents welcome the new year with cries of relief, quite frankly.
We stayed up all night long just hugging each other, just glad that we have each other and we have our kids.
The wildfire in Boulder County burned as many as 1,000 homes in a matter of hours. And while there are currently no people missing, thankfully, no deaths have been reported. Overnight, President Biden approved federal funding for those affected. And the president is among those honoring Betty White this morning, calling her a cultural icon. Our forever golden girl passed away yesterday at the age of 99, just a few weeks shy of her 100th birthday. Jason, I have to say, somebody sent this tweet around. This is not mine, but you do want to live the kind of life where when you die at 99, people say it was still too soon. I love the Golden Girls. I used to to spend my Saturday nights watching the Golden Girls with my grandmother. I know every single episode. It's just such a great time. I think you were in high school at that time, and I bet that you spent your Saturday nights watching the Golden Girls too.
It's a little young for the show. No, what actually gets me is that this is someone who was not only funny, but everybody, it's like when Michael K. Williams passed, everybody has kind stories about her. A guest of the show, Cristela Alonso, talked about how wonderful she was to her and how she has like a watch that was signed by Betty White. Like when you want to be someone who isn't just sort of, you have intentional time to go, people still love you when you pass away, but everybody has a wonderful story to share. And it's both sad, but it's a glorious life to live. It's one to be admired. And
I have to tell you, one of my favorite things about her, in addition to her wonderful portrayal of Rose Nylund, she was a staunch animal rights activist. Yeah. And you know I love animals, and so I do. Pit bulls, they're the sweetest dogs, don't believe the hype. But yeah, she lived such a wonderful life, and you know, there are folks like me who remember her from the Golden Girls, but there are the generation before us who remember her from the Mary Tyler Moore Show, the generation after us who remember her from Hot in Cleveland, her hosting Saturday Night Live. She was the oldest host, made history there. So definitely a life well lived. But in other news, you know what's happening on Monday. The Senate is coming back.
Are they really? I mean, like, does that really have an effect? Like, are regular people looking forward to this? Like,
they should be. They should be, because they've got a big agenda.
They should be. But here's the thing. It's like, I almost feel like when the Senate comes back, and hey, we can do this in news. I think the Senate themselves should do it. It should be like when Drake drops a new album or with some new sneaker shop. Like, they should be like, yo, we're back. We're bringing this. Like, you should be screaming your new agenda when you come in for a new Senate every year. That's why people are cynical, right? People are often cynical because they feel like, oh, this new thing dropped, but they just kind of phoned it in. So I hope when Schumer comes back, and he's been talking about, hey, we're going to address voting rights, then get it done. Yeah. Don't tell me that you're bringing some voting rights and then I stand in line and nothing happens. That's what I hope we see this spring from the Senate. I have a lot of faith in Schumer for once in this particular instance. Less in Manchin and lots in Vice President Harris and lots in Biden. They don't have much time to get something done this time. So I hope this new Senate bringing together is going to accomplish some things. I mean, well, there are big things to accomplish. We'll see what happens with Build Back Better. But honestly, none of this matters if they don't get to voting rights. This is, you know, when Chuck Schumer, you know, said we're putting this to the floor, and when President Biden said, you know, he's open to changing rules, particularly the filibuster, to get voting rights passed, it's like, yeah, you know, yes, that is a major thing. It protects the Democratic majority, and I don't think people realize what would happen if Republicans were to take back control of Congress. I think most people do. All you got to do is look at Texas, look at Georgia. You're right. Right. Well, people who watch MSNBC, yes, they know. I don't know that people, you know, who are going about their lives, trying to manage their own household debt and all the other challenges happening in society, are necessarily paying attention to the minutia and realize the January 6th investigation would go away. You know, they roll back policies. But you're right with what's happening in Georgia and Texas. Our gas prices, our ability to vote. I mean, health care, anything, the handling of COVID, right? We're going through, look, I haven't had to care this much about the Greek alphabet since like 6th grade, right? We're going through Delta, Omicron, whatever it is. I feel like there's about to be a step show of variants coming up in the next couple of months. And here's the thing, you know, if we maintain the Democratic House and Senate, and this is important, I tell people this, you're know saying we, but you're not, you don't. I know, I was about to say, I'm not a Democrat. That's what I was about to say. So people understand this. Y'all know I am not a Democrat under any circumstances, but I also understand what it is to have functional government. Right? And the Democrats, for the many criticisms that I have of them all the time, at least seem to recognize that COVID is a problem, at least seem to recognize that voting actually matters. And if the Democrats, when they come back in the Senate, and if this president can't make people want to vote and give them the right to vote this fall, we will lose whatever functional thing that we have in this country right now. And it opens the door for that crazy person in Florida, the twice impeached blogger, to come back in 2024. When you said crazy person in Florida, I'm like, be a little more specific. I need to be more specific. A little more. A lot of Florida man. Jinx. Florida man, exactly. I mean, you know, we'll see. The bigger problem, too, that I think we have to focus on is the state legislatures across this country. Yes. I mean, this is where a lot of these crappy, I was about to swear, this is where a lot of these crappy policies are introduced at the state level, and they bubble up. I mean, look, I'm so frustrated, and look, the Democrats certainly get a lot of criticism on Congress, but I think we have to keep reminding people why Manchin is so important is because of the obstructionist GOP, who don't have any ideas, but they don't want to see President Biden's agenda accomplish anything, particularly as we go into midterm. So as frustrated as we are with Joe Manchin and
and Kristen Sinema, which, you know, they deserve all that smoke.
Yes.
Let me just say, I think we have to keep that equal amount of frustration and disdain towards the Republican Party, who have completely aligned themselves with Donald Trump in favor over their constituents and the constituents' needs.
Well, in a way, right? Because a lot of their constituents support the nonsense that they're doing. And that brings us to what is an upcoming anniversary in 5 days now?
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 days. It's the one-year anniversary of the insurrection. And that's what this Republican Party actually stands for today.
Well, we're going to talk about that later in the show. So Jason Johnson will be sticking around with me throughout the show today. Don't go anywhere, because up next, 2022 already off to a rocky start as COVID cases continue to spike. We all want to know, when will this all end? We'll discuss that with a medical expert up next.